Yeah.
My goodness.
Don't have to listen to us rambling on about having kids and loving unconditionally. But who needs love, Mike? You have Dota 2. You don't need
Well, I
it.
didn't before the kid came along, and now I do. You know? I was happy being unloved before.
But how do you segue that into Dota 2 now? You just refuted my point. What's wrong with
Because I love Dota 2, Jonathan. Dota 2 will always love me. You know? Is that a good segue? No, it is what it is.
That's
whatever. Moving.
Not.
Game number 2. Shopify Rebellion, they've got nothing to play for. G2.iG, they've got everything to play for. And by everything, I mean standings.
Yeah. And to be fair, the difference between a potential upper bracket start and lower bracket start is massive. So this is actually a really big one for G2.iG. Let's see how this pause has affected the teams. At the very least, the pause was right off the draft. So, you know, we're not stuck in the middle of a 14-minute game and suddenly needing a pause that long and then having to reset. It's always the one where it gets a little bit dicey post-pause, but this one should be perfectly fine. I'm sure everyone remembers what hero they're playing. You know, we're not going too crazy here just yet.
Not yet. Oh, X-Nova, we'll get a nice little idle on for his trouble. We are going to get the bounty runes going. It's going to be a 3-for-1 trade in the favor of Shopify Rebellion. I think Thea's core going to go for a bit of a run. X-Nova chasing him down, but ultimately can't do too much about the clockwork. In this lane, I mean, we're already at the top lane, so we may as well talk about it. It's quite interesting, right? Like the Enigma clockwork against the Bane Naga. Should be a pretty boring lane, but there is still some kill potential with the clock, I suppose.
That there is, if you do manage to chase down. The big spike is when you do have that value point in Malefice from Saberlight. It is a little bit harder to maximize battery assault. The clockwork does not feel great when you've got all these Naga illusions on hand. They will cop a few of those hits. Every single tick is important to start to soften up his targets. So it's not as strong of a start for Teal Core. Again, if you can isolate X-Nova at the least, he is a much easier target to gun down. And see if that opportunity presents itself. Teal Core doesn't start off with boots. It's going to have to work his way into that point to get that chase. And at very least, you also have the Eidolons that can kind of just whittle away at X-Nova when it comes up. And Monet, once he has Riptide, should be able to clear out if you're not careful with your micro, but knowing Saberlight, he's a prolific micro player, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. We'll see. As that lane develops, can take a look elsewhere. Down mid, Yopaj and Nothing Say already poking quite hard at each other here. Yopaj on that Pango up against Nothing Say on the DK. It should be a really stable lane for both sides. Nothing Say should just be able to farm up, so should Yopaj. I don't see this one kind of leaning either or. Rune control is a bigger factor for Yopaj than it is for Nothing to Say. So I should expect some movement out from Shopify to kind of guarantee that, but it's not going to impact Nothing to Say as much at all, if at all. It's really just down to this level 6 timing. If Nothing to Say controls the creep wave well enough, gets his denies that DK tends to do, once he has the value point in Dragon Tail, if he wants to gun for that, it should be easy to just clear out the range creep, get that level advantage, start to shove in. There's not much a Pango can really do to stop that once the 6 is up.
No. Of course, that bottom lane as well. You're going to have JT and Baboka against Kitrak and Arteezy. For now, pretty easy lane for Arteezy by the looks of it. Just having a pretty good old time down at the bottom lane. Nice CS here on the Muerta. Not really too much they can do about it. Interesting as well, like the Naga Siren pick against the Muerta seems really nice as well, because you can kind of just pop the song as she pierces the veil. You know, so it's like the pierce the veil, you might just kind of waste the whole duration with the song if you really want to. And it just makes the hero feel kind of useless afterwards.
Yeah, it does make the BKB necessary for Arteezy, and even with the BKB, him isolated up against a whole bunch of heroes by himself in the song does not sound like a fun prospect for the Muerta. Oh.
Nice first blood being drawn here by Saberlight. Thea Core was able to set that one up for him, and of course with that many Eidolons and the Bane trapped in the cogs, it was a fairly easy kill here for Saberlight to secure. So already off to a fantastic start up at that top lane is Shopify Rebellion. And looks like Saberlight will be going for the urn build-up on the Enigma, so nothing too crazy.
Yeah, looking for early activity. I was maybe expecting perhaps the Dominator, just in line with what we tend to see from Saberlight, but he is going for a Tranquil into the urn. So does want a little bit more early presence, want to play with his team, understands how much they can do with just the Midnight Pulse and the Cogs. There is a lot of output there. Do isolate your LaCour just a little bit with a value point in the Ensnare. Nice chip damage done from Monet. And with that Ensnare up, it does get a little bit harder to gap close. You don't quite have the Nightmare up just yet on Xnova. He does have it up, but the cooldown at level 1 is pretty massive. So there are still opportunities for LaCour to try to isolate Xnova. But again, as long as they kind of stay clumped up here on G2.iG, that kill threat shouldn't be lining up. I think going back to your point about this Muerta, it does feel like the idea behind Muerta is to just rip through the DK and the Termisaw, right? Like, even though you have to worry about the song, you have to worry about all that counterplay, your damage will rip through these high armor heroes quite nicely. They do isolate Baboka here.
A very nice pickup from Shopify Rebellion. And Kirak may be traded though, as JT should have his way with him and does. JT able to trade quite nicely here on the supports. In fact, Arteezy not out of the woods yet either. JT still going for the chase, does have another chains available and will continue chasing Arteezy. Arteezy now really in dire straits. He just has nowhere to go. He'll try to run again, but Baboka now has joined in and they've secured the kill. Good thinking from JT. He recognizes the weakness of the Muerta, just jumps right underneath that tier 1 tower, and there's just nothing that Arteezy could have done about it.
And that's a massive economic blow from Baboka as well, right after planting the sentry, right in between the 2 sentries Shopify set up for. So just instantly losing any way to control down Baboka off the back of that cheeky little play and trying to keep him pinned down with Fortune Send. JT doesn't even feel the pressure. No value point in reactive, going for the full burst. Baboka again caught out, but without the sentry, the follow through is not going to be as easy to find. And G2.iG again playing off the back of these early spikes down bot quite nicely here. Still going.
Arteezy not feeling too safe right now. Xnova also going to show up, but they do TP in Thea LaCour. So 3 versus 3 down to this bottom lane. They are going to go for a bit of a chase onto JT. JT just happily going to take the bounty rune away and just continue to run. Thea LaCour, though, still on the chase, looking to get some damage off with the battery assault, but I highly doubt they'll even get close to killing off JT. They aren't wasting a lot of time for the Timber. In fact, now the turnaround is here. Kidrat will get jumped. Xnova shows up and so does Nothing to Say. Thea LaCour is going to be the target that they want to try and take down, and it seems as though they should have their way with him. Theo still healing up just a little bit, but not for long. He will go down to Xnova.
It's a ton of space being bought out by both sides. I do believe this is maybe a bit of a net benefit for the side of Shopify. Less pressure coming out onto Arteezy. You've got free room right now for Saberlight to just abuse these Eidolons, get that farm going up top. Already level 5 into 6 fairly soon. Rune control does come out for Yopaj though, so he does at least get the first taste in the bottle refill. And that does eat into that time where Nothing to Say could just freely shove onto the tier 1. Still trying to do so from the last bits of that Elder Dragon form, but not going to be long enough to really get that full push and full threat that he'd want to. Still doing a great job of just holding Yopaj back as well. Gonna force a little bit more top-ups onto him. And you are getting some aggressive movement from G2.iG. Good wards to watch the triangle. They've got wards watching pretty much across their 2 jungles as well, on the triangle and up top. So they've got coverage for any sort of aggression the side of Shopify will want to try to bring out. Nothing to Say though.
They're trying in mid. Xnova is around to try and help out. He'll get a Nightmare onto Saberlight. Those Saberlight with the Black Hole will catch 2 of them now. In fact, they've even got a 3rd with Baboka running in. Nothing to Say still alive, however, finally will go down. But it does cost them Yopaj in the end. Still a pretty decent trade going on here for Shopify Rebellion, finding 2. In fact, they may have even found a 3rd. Thea LaCour will cogs up Baboka. In fact, it is going to be a fantastic engagement for Shopify Rebellion as they do find a 3-for-1.
I like seeing that from Shopify. They hit this early level 6 spike on Saberlight. He's got the urn ready to go. They show up. Good use of just taking away the Nightmare. Not going to be a very stable way of just preventing the chase here from Xnova with all these Eidolons. Can kind of just rip it away. They even get the next piece of rune control as well, an arcane rune for Yopaj to pick up, and that siege onto mid with the Eidolon army. It doesn't take too long to find that objective. So the map opening up early for Shopify Rebellion. Playing around, again, this strong early game that they've always built for themselves across all of the matches we've seen. have a stable foundation now to keep that invasion going. However, again, G2.iG have set up for those invasions. Top ward just watching, bot triangle ward just watching any incursions, just to try to get some space out. Monet catches the Lakor out.
Certainly does.
Not going to be able to keep the chase.
Yeah, he's alright. Bottom lane. Arteezy. The chase is on. Hard to see Arteezy getting out of this. He's completely surrounded and there's no TPC incoming. Though G2.iG seem a little bit afraid that they might be coming eventually. Now realizing they are not though, Arteezy will get jumped again, though he does get the Pierce the Veil off. Will make it out for now, though just barely, as here comes Kirak to heal him up. JT's still looking for a way back in, however, and does throw the Chakram out, but will not dive the tier 1 tower. The Lakor in the meantime, going to find Baboka on the Weaver. Fortune's End will lock him down, and they will secure the kill, as we're now at a killing spree for Saberlight. The hesitation to jump on Arteezy. I don't know if they would have found the kill anyway, because he had the Pierce the Veil already whenever, but it does cost them.
It's a little bit... maybe a bit too optimistic here from the side of G2.iG. They can't really sustain a deep dive. You know, you don't have the value points in the reactive armor to really feel that durable in JT. He has to go for these first plays. And the Muerta barely hanging on, does manage to go away scot-free. Again, this is free space coming out for Monet. All of that attention bot, the movement of Saberlight in, does give Naga Siren a ton of room to just farm up. And it is a little bit slower for Monet in comparison to Arteezy with all of that action bot, but he's got the levels now to just kind of spam these mirror images around and try to get that build up. Still, G2.iG lagging behind Shopify Rebellion again, showing us just how well this early game, how well they understand how to play this early game. It's almost always on point. They invade, they keep trying to apply that pressure on triangle. They have these good wards, watching forward right by the tier 1, then able themselves to try to sneak something, maybe even here up top as well. Good forward vision all around. And they just need to keep that pressure up and see if they can maintain that. Side of G2.iG, it does feel like they kind of need some of these levels to be up in the supports. Less so in Baboka. Time-lapse will make him a harder target to pin down, but really just the grip on Xnova to maybe boost that confidence in trying to take these wider fights with the threat of the Rolling Thunder around. Heck, even the Black Hole gives you a few more options to stop these spells from really being effective here.
Shopify Rebellion now, a bit of a group up here in the mid lane. G2.iG are hanging around. You've got Xnova and nothing to say, just hanging by that tier 2 tower. Kirak going to try and get some vision down around the triangle, though Baboka is going to be there to try and deny that off. Meanwhile, Shopify still not really moving. I mean, to be fair, with this position, they are buying Arteezy a lot of space, where he's just able to farm that bottom side of the map very effectively. Saberlight still remaining at the top of the net worth board as well on the Enigma. And you do have Monet also free farming on the Naga Siren, but right now it is a bit of a slower process for Monet. Mid lane? Ooh. Never mind mid, it was bottom lane. I thought I heard a black hole there for a second, but it was actually, in fact, bottom lane where Arteezy does go down to JT.
Yeah, it's a big one. You're slowing down that Muerta from hitting critical mass. The Maelstrom is when this hero starts to really ramp up and farm quite quick with a Gunslinger. And you do manage to get some punishment. You know, Monet hasn't been hunted down in as much as Arteezy's been under so much pressure. Still, Shopify, see if the smoke leads to some success now, looking to make a move up top while their bot tier 1 is being taken. Again, they've got this forward vision watching the Naga, so they should be able to find his flank here.
They will. Monet going to be spotted. Will pop the song. Trying to pop the song. Doesn't get it off quite yet. And oh, it might just cost him. Monet goes down, just unable to get the song off in time. And that's a pretty big pick off for Shopify Rebellion.
That's the punishment they needed. Slow down this Naga as well, just as they've been slowing down Arteezy to an extent. And keep this top lane shoved in. Play around this vision. Shopify, they've got the blink up on Saberlight, easier angles to find some black holes. I like this combat-oriented build here for Saberlight on the Enigma. just really looking to apply early pressure with the threat of their team fight here on Shopify. Inside of G2.iG, again, it's kind of typical that what we've seen from them in the early game. So hold back, keep that farm game up, get that build up. They've got their blink up on nothing to say.
They've got Black Hole if they want to. Of course, they will not throw it out. X-Nova was there, ready to just nightmare whenever. Just see how much damage that was dealt to that Dragon Knight with just the Midnight Pulse and the Spirit Vessel. Absolutely ridiculous.
Has been killed.
Manet's lost his courier as well, so... In fact, that was Arteezy's courier, excuse me. Arteezy. Going to be chased down here by Baboka. The Baboka does not really have too much help, but nothing to say is going to make his appearance and make his jump in. But they will not continue the chase. Sableye will TP up just in case he required the assistance, but he does not. Arteezy will be just fine. Baboka is still actually chasing down for the Wisdom Rune. So he's going to run back into Arteezy now. Meanwhile, Manet gets caught out, but does get the song off in time. Back to Arteezy, though. He does manage to pick up the Wisdom and continues to run. Still, Baboka is not done yet, but the Pierce the Veil is out. Manet, in the meantime, still being chased down. Arteezy will survive another day, but Baboka is still hanging around. But trying to escape as now Sableite's going to jump in with the stuns out and the Spirit Vessel. Baboka eventually should die and will. Arteezy will secure the kill.
That's so much commitment out from Baboka. Doesn't even find a Wisdom Rune, but he does keep Saberlight camping top. Saberlight's having to stick to cover this Muerta quite a fair bit. Jumps right onto Nothing Say, doesn't manage to get the instant control, unfortunately. I think the big thing for the side of G2.iG is, again, just the space. Space for Monet, a little bit of room out for Nothing Say. And JT just working onto his blink. Once you've got that, you can follow through from your DK's initiation. You can start to isolate the backline, maybe rip Kitrak apart, take away that Fortune's End Dispel, take away the save from the False Promise, simplify these fights for you on G2.iG's end. Side of Shopify. I mean, they're doing a great job of playing this early aggression. Until just waiting some X-Nova's time as well, though. He does have Monet around to try to get this kill.
Certainly do. They should have it. Theolacore, I mean, he's got the hookshot available, but they're just going to Fiend's Grip. They're not going to waste any time here, G2.iG. Don't give him the chance to find an angle. Nice little pickup. They'll take it. And Shopify probably not going to be too bothered by that death on Theolacore anyway. They'll smoke up. They'll head down towards the bottom lane and see if they can find Manet on that Naga Siren. They could also run into JT, who is around the area just farming that large camp. They will avoid him for now, but the smoke is broken. JT, he's going to find both Saberlight and Kitrak. The jump is out. They've got the Black Hole if necessary. JT, though, just going to chain away for now. Saberlight! Yeah, so, I mean, sometimes you get a little bit greedy. And that time around, Saberlight, he really wanted to hold out. And it does cost him.
Yeah, that's a big miss for the side of Shopify. No threat of Black Hole for a full 3 minutes. Big opening for G2.iG to just kind of play their own game and not even care about the TP rotations, right? That's the one thing G2.iG's been respecting when they've been chasing these kills right by towers. They've been respecting that Enigma coming in. This time around, again, 3-minute opening is massive for the side of G2.iG. They've equalized the game. That would lead down to just 1k. Not really significant at all right now for the side of Shopify Rebellion. Monet already has the Manta up, so at the very least, Malefice isn't going to be an issue for him going in. You've got the blink on JT, which is again causing already a couple of issues. Is walking right under plain vision, so they might be able to punish.
X-Nova. Getting low to the Eidolons, but Saberlight, he's the bigger target. I mean, they'll find X-Nova, and Theolacore's even going to show up to try and protect Saberlight as they'll make the jump now back in onto Manet. Nagasara being chased down here by Theolacore, but Manet should be just fine, and Saberlight ultimately will survive. They just do not have the damage to burst down the Enigma. So they will get away with the kill on X-Nova for free. G2.iG, I mean, these past couple of engagements not really panning out in their favor. Thankfully for G2.iG, the net worth is still very even between both sides. And Manet has gotten to a stage now where he is getting very close to the net worth of both Saberlight And Artesia, speaking of Saberlight, he will run right into the Naga Siren. Trying to be as annoying as possible, but Monet doesn't really care.
No. Hard to pin down now with the full Manta. The Malefice is not going to do as much work. That Orchid timing should improve some of these issues with damage they've had here on the side of G2.iG. Just kind of need to reach that mark. They've also almost got the Manta on Nothing to Say. So, should, again, enable some of this push to come in. Enable the threat onto a lot of these tier 1s that are still standing, mid still standing, top still standing, causing some control issues for G2.iG in terms of trying to go across the map. For the side of Shopify, it does feel like they should start to be playing a little bit more aggressively soon. Once this black hole is off cooldown, they're inching towards the BKB for Saberlight as well. Yopaj almost at the Ags, just about 50 gold. Again, more output from him on the Pango. And you're going to have the Manta up soon here for Arteezy, so... yeah, good item spikes to play with. They are slowing down quite a fair bit. They can't afford to lose a lot of this momentum. We'll see. They are smoked up right now with the Ags flying up to Yopaj, X-Nova.
You'll find X-Nova here. Nice easy pick off onto the Bane. Arteezy's even going to show up to see if he's required. Oh, I said easy kill. Theolacore misses the hook shot. Arteezy, though, he will end up landing the dead shot, and they do get the kill. Almost missed out.
It works out. Not the big kill you'd want with a smoke and with the Ags reveal, but you'll take what you can get at this point. Side of G2.iG. Again, this is the big thing with their draft. With Naga, you can just keep most of the lanes in relatively good control. Oh, Monet.
Bottom lane, they've got Monet on his own. Saberlight did not really throw the Spirit Vessel charges out, though, sadly. So Monet almost shuking out. Avoiding that Fortune's End damage with the illusions, but it won't matter. He is gone. That is another huge kill here for Shopify Rebellion.
Yeah, and that's the big kill they really need to find every single time. Prevent the one big scaling hero from just having a free ride to farm. Monet's having to go back for Eternal Shroud just to block off some of this magical damage with the Midnight Pulse. Has been causing a lot of issues. Even just the output from, say, the Oracle hang around, the Clockwork with a Flare, and a Battery Assault has been a major nuisance, holding back the side of G2.iG. Roche does open up now for the side of G2.iG. Arteezy does show up for this one. Should be able to find that one bot, no problem. G2.iG are smoked up, but doesn't seem like they'll be able to make it in time. It's not the quickest Roche in the world, mind you. But they don't even manage to get the scan out. Well, that is the Radiant scan, but they don't have any idea it's happening right now.
They absolutely do not. Roshan will be going quite freely here to Shopify Rebellion. Twin gate usage, no. Shopify Rebellion going to avoid that. Just do it the old-fashioned way and walk, though. Yopaj, he's been caught top lane. Yeah, Yopaj, he just kind of gets caught by nothing to say. And the Pangolier is now gone, but Boca are able to secure that kill, and G2.iG, they're on to the top tier 2 tower. And this is the team without the Aegis.
It's down to this really great Orchid timing from Baboka, who's really patient hanging around in that area. Does manage to pin down Yopaj. He has nothing defensive. That silence just absolutely ruins him with chain control. They even take the tier 2. They can apply some steady pressure with a Manta. Not gonna be able to really fully commit, but that's already a bit of a win. You lose Aegis, you take a tier 2 for your trouble. You might be able to find a Tormentor here as well, with everyone showing up. And you just take these resources away from Shopify. At the least, you know, with Arteezy having the Aegis, he can front line, he can kind of help out in this push, fully commit for some of these tier 2s. See how much they can get out on the side of Shopify. They also get this big Ags timing lined up in Theolacore. So the overclocking is up. The Rocket Flare spam, again, very helpful in taking care of the Naga illusions. Especially while Monet doesn't have that full Eternal Shroud up just yet. The damage is significant. It goes straight into just taking Tormentor solo here for Arteezy. Should find that no contest, so let's balance out. What free shard will they pick up here? Kitrak hits it.
Very nice.
Good old Reign of Destiny for them.
One of my favorites. Oh, I like this shot. It's a nice one.
Yeah, it's always funny for me when an old Ags turns into a shard. Remember when this was the Ags? It's kind of Meh.
It was a horrible axe. It was so bad.
Yeah.
It's like, who the hell is going to pay 4.2k for that?
Yeah. But as a shard, as a freebie, pretty nice. Just a little bit more sustained to play with outside of Shopify. I am still concerned about the state of the game. Again, this is very reminiscent of every single game we've seen from Shopify.
They're having a look for Baboka. They missed the hook shot, but eventually Saberlight's going to find it. Very nice from Saberlight. He's really popping off this game. 5-0-4 on the Enigma. The Lacour even finding the axe for himself now on the clock.
Had that set up earlier. And again, just the vision game that you have with a rocket flare and a little bit more area stun with a hook shot does feel very significant for the clock to play around with. I still don't know if that's a major concern for G2.iG yet. This BKB coming out on Saberlight definitely is, though. And that puts all the pressure on Xnova to be their counterplay. With a Fiend's Grip, he does not have anything like his Aether Lens or Blink up yet, so getting in the position to cancel the Black Hole, not going to be feasible. And even if you take care of the Black Hole, that leaves Yopaj free reign to just jump around in that Rolling Thunder. Good dodge in that smoke, though. Mentioned to TP away, but could find some nice big targets here. Baboka going through the gate. JT, he's stuck here.
Certainly is, JT. Ooh. He's going to blink the other way, try to chain out while he can, but it's not happening. I've got him locked down. Saberlight to pick up his sixth kill of the game. They haven't looked on the eastern side of the map as well. Arteezy and Theolacour hanging around. But nobody from G2.iG wants to try and make their presence known to Arteezy at all. They just want to kind of avoid Shopify Rebellion.
Radiant's top tower is under
Shopify, I mean, they've grouped up again through the bot lane, perhaps looking towards that top tier 2, bottom tier 2 tower. And it seems like they will. Still about 1:15 left on the Aegis timing. Arteezy will go ahead and get started on the tier 2 bot. I wonder if G2.iG are kind of concerned with the state of the game right now. Like, Monet and Nothing to Say are still farming very, very well. But it does still feel like the map control is slowly going back the way of Shopify. And again, they're the ones that really care about this game. They're the ones playing for the score, the standings.
They are. Xnova dropping, going really sneakily up front here. Doesn't really drop any sort of counter vision just yet, but
how did they miss him? They just did not see him. Mid lane? Bit of a group up from Shopify. G2.iG just gonna retreat again.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
What do you think about the Muerta vs Naga Siren matchup? Like, going into the later stages of the game, it does feel like Monet has started to slowly take over in terms of the net worth. Do you like the Naga Siren versus the Muerta?
I think it's a weird back and forth. Gunslinger can help to simplify and trying to kill off these illusions. So the illusion spam from Monet is not going to feel as amazing. At the same time, it doesn't... I don't know how we feel about Muerta scaling up anymore with Pierce the Veil. With items like Eternal Shroud being up on Monet, it doesn't feel like you're just going to burst down Monet that fast. There's also the factor that we talked about, the BKB, or the song through the Pierce the Veil. It's a pretty big issue for Arteezy as well, just negating his damage output entirely. Doesn't have anything like the BKB lined up at all. Opted for the Lincolns first. So it's a little bit of an awkward one that's not straightforward, Xnova.
Xnova being caught out now by Yopaj. Theolacour, of course, going to ensure that Xnova has no way out of this situation. You do still have a 4-star here for Xnova to play with. We'll try to use it, but is going to die to Yopaj. They do at least get the tier 1 mid tower in the meantime, thanks to the illusions of Monet. We're 14-7 now, just a 1k advantage the way of G2.iG. The Dota Plus is sitting at like 51 to 49%, so it's a very, very even matchup. Anyone's game to win or lose at this stage.
It is. I'd agree in general. I think this one can go either way. You've got the massive threat of Black Hole for Saberlight. That's really the game changer here for them in these fights and enabling all of this movement out. For the side of G2.iG, their scaling kind of lines up I guess to an extent they scale a little bit better with the DK. You know, with the Ags up already, nothing to say. And for the BKB, could go for more damage down the line or just extra durability with maybe an AC. Either the AC or Mjolnir could come out. Maybe even a Mage Slayer wouldn't actually be too bad for nothing to say as a late game item pickup, just to reduce some of the magical output on the Muerta could be one way to go as well. But it's all down to how well your execution can come in for Shopify Rebellion. If they can find these big team fights, if they can get these black holes right when they need to, whether or not X-Nova can go for the grip and finds the right target in these fights, identifies the right target every time. It's all down to that execution. But at least for Shopify, when they're clearing out these last outer towers, top tier 2 getting cleared out now, and they can start to set up for Roshan. Half a minute until you see that respawn. You've got the full Mjolnir out for Arteezy. So his damage is starting to really ramp up now. G2.iG are smoked up. They did manage to get a scan off, though.
But they did. Kit-Rak gonna be the first target hit, nothing to say. Immediately bursted down with Sableye. He's got the black hole off onto 2, but the Fiend's Grip, it's gonna cancel it off from X-Nova. Still, Shopify Rebellion not looking too bad. Monet's popped the song to try and set up a bit of a fight the way of G2.iG as Monet has been caught. Yopaj completely controlling him up, will take him down. They will at least find a trade in the form of Saberlight, but it's still not the greatest of fights here for the side of G2.iG. They will have to leave the area. Shopify Rebellion will start to move onto the high ground of that dire base.
Yeah, they get that big opening for themselves. The black hole forcing out the early force staff usage from X-Nova to just get in position, to get the grip. It means that he has no way to escape once the Core isolates, which means that you don't have any saves, you don't have a way of just stopping this chase down, you don't have a way of preventing Arteezy from playing this game. And again, throwing the grip off onto Saberlight does mean that you don't have that grip for Yopaj, who does manage to clean up Baboka as well, trying to cut down that mid-creep wave. So it's a hard game down to the execution. If the black hole lands onto big heroes like that, X-Nova has to focus that grip onto Saberlight, but that just lets Yopaj run around. You know, with the Ags, with a full disperser, this Pango does a lot of work in the middle. You don't have that. You don't have a BKB on Monet. Wouldn't want to build that. Wants to go for more HP, more damage for sure. And that's the lead back to Shopify. And that's the opening for Roshan in half a minute. They should have complete control of the area. G2.iG though will go out with a smoke. Again, no black hole. So they can force this one out maybe a little bit better here.
They're going to try it. Song is not up for 30 seconds, but they have done Japoi to start. That's a great way to start, though Yopaj still trying to get his way out, but will not make it. And that's the perfect kind of start to the fight, because Yopaj making just too many headaches in the middle of that last team fight. And Roshan's available now as well. They've got Yopaj down for a minute. This could be a pretty big opening for G2.iG to try and sneak a quick Roshan.
Surprising how that turns around. I think the ideal situation now for G2.iG in starting these fights is if they just isolate Saberlight, or if he's taking a black hole, they have to prevent Yopaj from getting that roll. They've got enough Orchids. Yopaj still doesn't have anything defensive. Working towards the Lincolns, but again, that's still a ways off. That's how G2.iG have to kind of approach these engagements. Aegis will go the way of G2.iG, no contest. Secondary life up on Monet. They've got the banner as well to aid in the siege, but they've always got to respond to top. Without that defense of the tier 3, range rack still set to fall after a little bit of a shove in. The Arteezy illusions getting the job done, but not. Is it enough? It is enough. Barely. Very nice. At least a little bit more pressure up top, just giving you more room to roam around the map here for the side of Shopify. Force a response out from the side of G2.iG. What spikes are we looking for now from G2.iG? You've got an Octarine for JT and an Octarine up for Nothing to Say. I'd say the Octarine for Nothing to Say is a lot more impactful. It's basically what turns it down to maybe a 15-second downtime, 10-second downtime on the Dragon form. Pretty much up all the time for our DK. Consistent push, play with the illusions. You've got the Shard for Monet, which he is opting to buy for himself instead of waiting for the Tormentor. Really good reset tool. I think if you look at that last fight up top, if that song had Shard instead, you might have been able to get a little bit more out there. That HP regen 5% of max HP is no joke in terms of what it does provide for you. Looks like JT does switch out for a full sight device instead, so I like that as well. More control. They just need to get control first on side of G2.iG. That's a key part. Jump onto Yopaj, ensure X-Nova's away from the black hole, get the grip on Saberlight afterwards, and try to prevent that rolling thunder from Yopaj. Again, that's the approach in engagements here.
Well, G2.iG for now, they'll focus on the Radiant Tormentor. JT to get his own free shards now. Shopify still hanging around the bottom lane. We'll push through the tier 3 tower. To say with the Black Dragon form will force them to back away. But Boca also creep skipping in the meantime, so they do not have a creep wave on the way. Smoke is out from G2.iG. Oh, Arteezy could get caught first. He'll break the smoke right onto nothing to say. They'll back onto the high ground, though it's pretty obvious where Shopify are currently hanging around. Jump is out from nothing to say. BKB's committed. False promises out. Now the black hole. Saberlight, he only caught one target, but he has locked down JT. The problem is the song is making it so there's no backup to the black hole. And everyone from G2.iG has just left the building. Apart from Baboka at the moment. Baboka, the only one caught out by Theolacour. Meanwhile, Monet going to move back in. They will try again. Yopaj will pop the Rolling Thunder eventually. He'll go after JT on the Timber, though JT's going to chain away. Monet moving back into the fight will go after Kidrak, though Kidrak is trying to heal up but will go down. And JT does eventually fall. Monet back in the fight, still has the Aegis up. It's just kind of kiting in and out. We'll look towards Saberlight now, though Saberlight just running his way out will be just fine. Back in onto Arteezy they go, but he'll pop the Pierce the Veil, so he'll be alright as well. They'll take down X-Nova. Saberlight gets caught though, so Saberlight will die. Meanwhile, Nothing Say will also join the Death Squad. So 2 for 3 trade in the favor of Shopify Rebellion.
Yeah, it works out their way. Fighting into the Aegis nicely. Arteezy breaking the smoke really ruins that for the side of G2.iG. They're not able to find the angle in. It looked like a decent fight in that black hole wasn't as impactful, but their follow-up just felt scattered as well from G2.iG. They're not able to fight into that little corner spot with a hot tub down bot and not able to really exert control. Like they were eyeing for a much better grip coming out there from X-Nova, who didn't have to expend it in black hole. That's already a minor win for G2.iG in terms of trying to move on these fights, but just again, great discipline from Shopify to kind of split that fight. Baboka trying to take a flanking angle as well, not able to really isolate anyone out. Doesn't quite have the damage on his support Weaver to just go for that first play. And now you've got full Daedalus up on Arteezy. His damage output's insane right now.
He certainly is, Arteezy, hitting like an absolute truck. Refresher orb now available on Saberlight. He does have Black Hole on cooldown for another 30 seconds, but can refresh if required. Otherwise, double Black Hole up in 30. Shopify Rebellion, they'll sneak through the top lane now, back up towards the top melee barracks. Looking to secure a second lane of barracks here. Arteezy is managing to pick it off. Only one left in the mid lane. They really are lacking quite a bit of damage when it comes to trying to deal with this Muerta at the moment. Jump in is there. They found Baboka for now. Meanwhile, JT will pop the BKB and just go right into the middle of the fight. They are trying to focus down Arteezy, but Kidrak will ensure he does not die thanks to the false prompts. They'll reset perfectly fine. And again, it really does appear to be a bit of a damage issue. Lockdown again. Baboka is gone. They'll find the Weaver.
Yeah, it's all the sustain coming out from Shopify. They have so much save with Kidrak just standing back. They have a lot of Lincolns. And they have to expend a lot just to get control here.
Black Hole is out. They've caught NTS with that one, but it is cancelled by the Song of Monet. Problem is now your Song is down. Pierce the Veil is back up for Arteezy if he wants to pop it, though he does get jumped here by NTS. He'll get the BKB off, and now the Pierce the Veil has been committed. Everyone from G2.iG just disperses immediately. They do not want to deal with it. Not right now. Back onto the tier 3 tower will RTZ go, but it seems that they might just need to retreat and reset. But no, the call is made. They're going back in. They still have the secondary black hole from Sable. So one more left. No song to cancel this time. Not for another 40 seconds at least. G2.iG is still making it very hard to approach that high ground though for Shopify. Pierce the Veil back up in 2 seconds to boot. T3 Tower almost down. Rolling Thunder is out. Yopaj will jump right in onto the Dragon Knight. There's your Pierce the Veil, and now the damage output with the Black Hole. They'll just lock them all down. Monet still alive, but not for long. He'll commit the buyback. So will Nothing to Say, but they have lost X-Nova without buyback, and now Baboka will also go down. No buyback available on him either. So Shopify Rebellion looking very good for this game too. Song will be committed. They'll try to slow down the mid-racks being taken. Mega's incoming after this one. Monet looking to jump the Oracle first. Kid Rack looking okay for now, though is getting chipped away at quite fast by Monet and will go down. But here comes the cavalry. Arteezy's onto NTS. They will retreat once again, but they'll just focus on the mid-racks. Mega creeps are now up. And it's still a 5v3 scenario. Because Kirak has brought back into this game. JT will get the tip from Arteezy. And ultimately for G2.iG, this is definitely something they did not want to see happening. They really wanted a 2-0 if they could afford to get one. But it seems the Shopify will deny the 2-0 away as they kill off X-Nova and JT once again. Looking for the secondary tier 4 tower. Monet's going to try and slow this down, so will NTS. They'll pop their BKBs. They do at least end up finding Thealacor, but he's going to buy back again. And now Monet's a sitting duck. He'll try to get out, but Yopaj controls him up and takes him down. No buyback available. They will not call it yet. NTS will drop to boot, and now they'll call. That's enough.
Yeah. A little bit of a rough one for G2.iG, but Shopify Rebellion playing really clean here. A great positioning coming out from every single one. Saberlight